So you guys know probably by now, I'm a big Xbox fan. I like Xbox. I think it's great. The problem is their hardware is always great. Their messaging is always kind of poor, and that really kind of bugs me in a way that I can't even describe. Right? It's like you start getting things going the right way, and then Phil Spencer does an interview or whatever, and he's basically like, yeah, everything can go. It's like, listen, guy, I get it. You don't care about, putting your games everywhere or whatever, but there's a lot of fans out there that bought into your platform for decades, long before you were head of Xbox, and they liked exclusive games. They bought Xbox for exclusive games. So I think that it's kind of disingenuous for Phil Spencer to be kind of the way that he is, and in a lot of ways hurts Xbox in some big ways. So I want to get into this. What's up, everybody? I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews. If you enjoy my content, please maybe consider liking and sharing, as I would very much appreciate that. So just kind of jumping right into this. It looks like Phil Spencer is saying that Starfield is not going to stay exclusive. According to Phil, Xbox is one of the big three gaming consoles out there. Obviously, for many years, Xbox and PlayStation were pretty similar machines, and the biggest difference between them were the exclusive titles they had to offer. If you were more of a shooter fan, you may be interested in playing an Xbox, as it had Gears of War and Halo. Looking for more action adventure, maybe you'd get a PlayStation to play Uncharted and God of War. However, things have played out a little bit dramatically differently in the past few years, as both platforms have changed their business models a bit. PlayStation has begun to put some games on PC a couple years after the PS5, and Xbox has been making its games available on Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch 2, and PS5. Part of this is because Xbox wants to make its games more available to other players and generate additional revenue, specifically on games that are already pretty old and that have been available on Game Pass. And Microsoft seems keen to keep on supporting Xbox Game Pass, maybe on its own hardwares and platforms, but sees a way of making money on its games outside of hardware like PlayStation. With that being said, there has been a lot of questions about which games remain exclusive, if any. Last year, Xbox confirmed Indiana Jones and the Great Circle would come to PS5 in 2025, which was pretty surprising since it's one of Xbox's best games in years. Fans have been wondering if arguably its biggest game of the generation, Starfield, would come to PlayStation 5, as it was reportedly in development for the console before Microsoft bought Bethesda. Well, it seems like it will. YouTuber Destin Legary, formerly of IGN, asked Xbox boss Phil Spencer if he could say whether or not Starfield remained exclusive to Xbox, in which he responded no. Spencer then talked about how Xbox has no desire to limit its own games to its own consoles and sees more success by making games available everywhere. And I quote, "There's no reason for me to put a ring fence around any game and say this game will not go to a place that it wouldn't find players, where it would have business success for us. What we find is we're able to drive a better business that allows us to invest in great game lineup like you saw, and that's our strategy. Our strategy is to allow our games to be available. Game Pass as an important component to playing the games on our platform, but to keep games off of other platforms. That's not a path for us. It doesn't work for us." He also noted that the world's best games are available on multiple platforms, and that Xbox's flexibility to bring in games elsewhere makes it unique. It's rumored that Xbox is going to be one of the biggest publishers for Nintendo Switch 2, with plans to bring Halo to the PS5 and the Switch 2 later this year. None of it's been confirmed, but it does sound incredibly plausible. With Xbox reportedly planning to bring multiple platform reach this year, it could not be remotely surprising to see Starfield come to PS5 this fall or summer. It's a very different approach, and the one is extremely controversial among Xbox fans. However, it is one that Xbox may need to do in order to stay competitive. If hardware sales are slowing down or failing, leagues behind its competitors, making sure that they can drive sales of its biggest games would be critical. However, Xbox hasn't been putting its games on other platforms day and date for the most part, but again, they probably will. So, we're living in this kind of world where, obviously, pretty much everything is going to be multi-platform from Xbox. Nintendo isn't going to put games on Xbox. PlayStation's not going to put games on Xbox. So basically, it's kind of a one-way street from what we can see right now. And I think that is the biggest, toughest pill to swallow if you're an Xbox fan, is that this is only going one way, and that's extremely unfortunate, to say the least. if you look at things, and there's some people out there who will say, well, exclusives don't really matter or whatever, but if you look at the way things are kind of set up, PlayStation has console exclusives, Nintendo of course has console exclusives, and both of those are selling well. PlayStation 5 above PlayStation 4, and the Switch at like what, 150 million or whatever it is, so obviously that thing's selling incredibly well. The other thing is that Phil Spencer actually talked about the situation with making hardware, and I thought that this was an interesting thing that he said on their own hardware. He thinks it's fundamental that Xbox is in the name of the brand, in the position he's in. He's looking at hardware as a critical part of what we do, but not trying to gatekeep the games off other places. He then said, talking about the future of Xbox's hardware, how it aims to be more accessible in different ways. He said, let's go build innovative hardware that people want to use to play, whether that's in their hands, whether that's on their televisions, or even other places. And I love our hardware team. He was basically kind of talking about he wants to win based on innovative hardware and things like that. But here's the problem, right? Xbox One X launched in 2017. Most powerful hardware, innovative hardware, it had stuff like VR, way ahead of the game. Nobody bought it. And why didn't anybody buy it? Because it didn't have any exclusive content. You flash forward to Xbox Series X, most powerful hardware, innovative hardware, backwards compatibility, auto HDR, quick resume, all these really cool things, super innovative. Nobody bought it. Why? Because it didn't have any exclusives. It's that's the problem. So it's like you can sit there all day and go, okay, well, we want to be innovative, or we want to do this or that, but it's already been proven that without exclusive content, your stuff isn't going to sell. And we also had kind of some confirmation that Xbox Series X sold, and S sold the worst that it's ever done in 2024. 0.29 million units in all of the EU, all of Europe, right? That's less than 300,000 units the entire year for the EU. Sold under 3 million units in North America. Under 3 million. This is their biggest, for reference, okay? Under 3 million for the entire year for North America. For reference, PlayStation 5 sold 4.2 million in November alone, and another 3.5 million in December. So almost 8 million between November and December for PlayStation 5 in 2024. Meanwhile, Xbox the entire year sells under 3 million units. So this is a big problem, because people really think that Microsoft is going to continue to make hardware and things like that, and I just I don't see that happening, right? Honestly, I just really don't see that happening. I think when they finally start to see the situation with with what's going on in this whole thing with when Microsoft is like, oh, and this will probably happen sometime. I think they probably will come out with another piece of hardware, but I think that's kind of like the quote unquote, well, here's a last chance thing, and that's probably something that people probably will look at and kind of look at it and go, we'll give it another chance. And then what happens if their next console goes out and sells worse than the Wii U? I mean, how long is Microsoft going to keep up with that? I think that's going to be the big thing. Like a lot of what they do now sort of reminds me of what they did with the Windows Phone. Was they went out, spent billions, bought Nokia, built a bunch of games and apps for it exclusively. Then when it didn't start picking up in sales, they started putting those apps and games and stuff on every other phone, and then they were making promises of new phones and new hardware, and then they closed it all down, right? So I think that's the big worry right now. And with Starfield going, I don't know. It's like it's hard to really be excited for Xbox. It's hard to be excited for everything that's kind of going on. I'm not sure. I'm not real sure what to really say about it. It's really disappointing to kind of hear them go out this way. And honestly, just as an Xbox fan, it just feels a lot like a slap in the face. So anyway, I'd be loving to hear your guys' thought process. I very much appreciate it if you guys would like the video shared out, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. It definitely does mean a lot to me if you guys could do that. any kind of critiques or something, please let me know. Very much kind of interested to hear what you guys think about the content and stuff like that. So with that being said, rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. As always, I'll catch you guys here next time. Make sure you guys stick around, because it's always a show here, and I like to be informative yet fun. So thanks so much for watching. Crap gamer out.